I'm going to be setting up this 250 litre soft water shrimp tank. Alright guys, let's start with filtration. This is going to be an under gravel filter going all the way along here, right? It's deliberately went from one corner of the tank to the other corner of the tank, right? And this is to give us maximum filtration across all of the surface of the gravel that we're going to add in here. This pipe roughly measures about 130 centimetres all the way along. It has a little 45-degree bend on this side here. Then there is a standpipe that goes up maybe 40 centimetres, and then another directional flow pipe that's also a 45-degree bend that you can see there, right? I also drilled over 100 holes all the way along so the water can be sucked in. And on this very end part here, guys, I siliconed it up so there's no opening. So the first thing that we're going to add is a layer over our under gravel pipe here is a layer of zeolite. Zeolite is really good, guys, at removing impurities in the water, any kind of pollutants. It's just amazing stuff. Typically this stuff will last 6 months to a year, and guys, realistically I think a year is probably what you should be aiming for with your soft water bee shrimp tanks, because that seems to be the optimal time. After a year you should be changing it out, right? So let's get this stuff into the tank. I'm not sure how much we're going to use, but yeah, this stuff is good. Ideally, guys, I want the under gravel filter to go from corner to corner. Hopefully you can actually see something. And we're going to pour the zeolite over the top. Okay, so that is roughly about half the bag, which is around 5 kilos. Let's remove this bag and then I'm going to show you the inside. Alright, let's fix our zeolite a little bit better than this. You can see the idea here. Its sole purpose, guys, is just to cover the pipe to hold it down in place. All the way along. Yeah, it is just there to fill in the gaps where there's holes from our little pipes. You can see all these little gaps. You just need to cover them up just a little bit, because we are then going to add our layer of akadama. You know, guys, I'm not sure I mentioned this, but we are actually going to do this entire setup in 7 days. From filling it with water to adding shrimp, we will be done in 7 days, right? So make sure you stick to the end to see if it actually works. Okay, up next is our Ibaraki akadama. I love this stuff, right? I've used lots and lots of different substrates over the years, and I keep on going back to this stuff just because it's so good. I think, guys, why it's so good as well is because not only does it soften the water, it also purifies the water at the same time like no other soil I know of. Let's get this into the tank. I'm going to use a whole bag here, 9 litres. It might not be enough, but I have a lot of akadama over here, so let's get it into that tank. Let's hope it's not too much of an echo chamber down there, right? Let's get our akadama in. I'm just going to pour it straight in the middle. The akadama is, of course, lighter than the zeolite, so it shouldn't really rise up too much. Let's cover as much of the zeolite as we can. And as I said, guys, it doesn't matter if you can see the zeolite at all. It doesn't matter. Its sole purpose in our tank is to purify the water. Let's get a whole bag in. I think that is 10 kilos. Awesome stuff. It's very dusty in there. You might not be able to see. Let me pick you up. Let me see. This is what we're working with here. Let's use the hand and push it to the back. Yeah, this is a lot of soil. It's a lot of soil. We're going to get a lot of good breeding of shrimp. I didn't mention, guys, but this is the other filter that we will be using. It's a double XY/380 sponge filter, but it is two of them joined together. Let's get this out of the way just a second until we get our akadama in place. Looking good, Mark. Looking good. Let's get the other side done. Yeah, it is pretty good already. It is pretty nice. Now, in general, guys, I'm going to go with less and less soil in my tanks, because yeah, I'm going to have to start doing them a little bit more regularly. And what I mean by that, guys, is there's a time when tanks stop producing baby shrimp and blah blah blah. You really want to change out your soils and stuff before then. So I'm going to give mine at least a year, and every single tank I'm going to do this over the course of a few tanks as well. And yeah, let's have a little look back. How does that look? Yeah, it looks not too bad, not too shabby. Let's put that filter back in that we have up here. Let's get the water in and whatever else. It's going to be awesome. Look at it. It's going to be awesome. We're going to breed tons and tons of shrimp in here. By the way, guys, as well, I mentioned that this is directional. You see? Just actually move it like this either way. These are push fit joints, so yeah, if I want to, I could take this off as well. That's not too loose, I don't think. It's not going anywhere. Let's talk water I use, reverse osmosis water. This is not enough, nowhere near enough for these tanks, so this is going to take me maybe a day or two to fill up this tank. But I thought I'd show you the process here. This is the mineralizer I use. This is soft water mineral GH Plus from Salty Mineral. This is the discus version, guys, but I get this because it is exactly the same as the soft water one for bee shrimp. And this is what we use for our 40 litres of water, because each of these containers up here hold 40 litres of water. I use 5 grams of this salt to give me a conductivity of 200. Okay, so this goes in here like this, and then I'll let it mix for a couple of hours, and then I'll start to add it to the tank. I'm going to add the water in a minute, right? This is literally going to take me a couple of days to make enough water for this, right? But it will be literally a second for you. But I thought, in the meantime, we'd talk about conductivity in the water, because this is why it is going to take us a certain amount of time to put shrimp in this tank. Right? It's not as simple as you fill the tank up with water, add shrimp, and that's it, right? Because these soils have a drawdown rate on them, which means that they basically absorb stuff out of the water. This could be magnesium, calcium, whatever else, and it's actually measurable. You can actually measure this with a conductivity meter. Let's break out our water transferring devices. Right, this is just RO tubing. It's got a bit of length of pipe on it and a couple of float valves. Right, realistically, guys, as I said, this has only got 40 litres in it. This is 250 litres, so yeah, I probably could just put the water straight in if I wanted to, but yeah, let's just set up this way, because tomorrow we'll have double this again, and then maybe another 2 loads after that tomorrow, and yeah, it won't be too long. But yeah, let's get this in here. If I can find my wee thingamajig like this, and it goes onto here. Have our stuff connected now, pipes all primed, the siphon is ready to go. Let's carry this over here and we can add it to our tank. And yeah, this one is going to take a while to fill up because it's so big, but it is what it is. You see why I use these clamps and stuff, guys. Right now this isn't really a good way to show you, because yeah, we don't have enough water to fill it up all like we want to. But if it was enough water, guys, this float valve here stops the water before it overfills. And I'm not going to bother changing it now, because it's set on its highest float valve floating position. Yeah, and we're not going to have anywhere near the amount of water needed, right? But this is just to show you how it works, right? So you open the valve and water should start flowing out here, you see it? And the reason, guys, I use this way of doing it over everything else is because I could put that on there and I could leave. I could go and do whatever else I like. I could go to bed or whatever else. This is not going to overflow. If I had enough water, it's not going to overflow. You know, I almost forgot to say, if I didn't say already, is the type of shrimp that we're going to put in here, right? Blue bolts are probably my favourite type of shrimp. And guys, I've probably wanted to do this tank for a while and fill it with blue bolts, so that is what we're going to do, right? If you want to see blue bolts, remember to stick around to the end, because that's what will be going in here. Next, guys, we're going to start to add our bacteria, right? We're going to use Seacom Stability, and we're going to use it every day for 7 days, right? So the first batch is going to be about 30 mil for this size of tank, and then for each day after, for up to 7 days, we are going to add 15 mil, right? And then after those days, when it's complete, in theory, it should be ready for shrimp. It should be safe enough for shrimp anyway. Now, and guys, I know that this works because I've done it on a tank down here, which you will see in future videos as well. I have a little breeding colony of German spotted head pintos. You guys will know this already, that they died out and had to move the tank, blah, 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 blah. Well, they've actually bred in here, and I'll show you in a future video. Let's add our 30 ml of Seacom Stability to our litre of aquarium water from another tank. Right, I said, guys, it is a good time to add this because, yeah, the soil is starting to wet out on the bottom. Right, and it's not going to go very high today, so it's a good time to add our first batch of bacteria like this into the tank, because it will allow it to soak in to all this substrate. Right, so let's just add it. Hopefully I pour it into the tank and not over the light, which will be getting replaced really, really soon as well. Now, if I was up there, I would actually pour it all over the place, but I just can't see. It is day 2. Let's have a little look. You see what I mean, how slow this is filling up with water? I can only fill it up with what I have, guys, right? So this is probably going to be about here by the end of the day, today, and then tomorrow I could probably stick on the filtration. Today, guys, I think the jobs that we can do are adding in our second dose of cecum stability, which is roughly 15 ml, which I have prepared here. And yeah, it would be awesome if we could actually get the filtration started, because we might need to give it an extra day, I think. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. The other thing that we can do today, guys, is we can change over these lights to the newer LED floodlights that I have here. Because, guys, I have noticed that when I look back at my older videos, my tanks looked exceptionally good under LED floodlights, right? There's just something different about a light that focuses light through water columns compared to a generalization of light, it's just even over the whole tank like this, right? It looks special when you have floodlights. Let's get these ones on and we'll see how it looks. So these are the lights here, guys. These are from V-TAC. They're innovative LED lighting, LED floodlights, SMD Slim series. They're very, very slim. I mean, you can see the box that they came in. They're 6,500 Kelvin, which means they're a daylight type bulb. The thing I often see people using is the 4,000 Kelvin bulbs, which are kind of orangish. I don't like. Guys, this is going to be on that deep tank up there as well. So we have went with 30 watt LED lights. For my more shallow, smaller tanks, I think I would go with 10 watts, and that's probably what I'll be buying in the future. You'll see that in other videos as well. These are 2,510 lumens, so they're quite bright. I've had to add grounded plugs onto them as well, because I was aware that some of you guys were a little bit concerned about my wiring in one of my videos I did a long time ago, right? So yeah, I've went and got these plugs here, and we're simply, guys, what we're going to do is add our lights to the bar like this, just the same as before. We're going to use cable ties like this, and then after, guys, when I'm happy that we get the right positioning of the light on the tank, I'll use stainless steel screws into the wood. Let's do the first one together. So that's the front where these little screws are. Let's line this up and do the first one together so you can get an idea of how these actually go on. You're like, Mark, but cable ties can break. I know they can break. They can break under heat as well at old age, so yeah, it is wise to get away from cable ties if you can. I mean, I have actually had them snap on lights before, but the difference with these ones here, guys, is they're not actually on the light, as where my older setup, they were literally actually on the light and they were getting hit by the heat, right? So yeah, make sure that you don't do it that way. Pull them tight. There's this one here on the other side. Pull them tight and they will be good to go. Okay, let's have a little look and tell me, guys, in the comment section below, what do you think? You can definitely see the floodlight feature that we were talking about before. I think this light here needs to go that way a tiny tad. The thing that I do love about it is that there's no light spread all over the rest of the room like there was with the other lights. The other thing is they might not be high enough, you can see here, because there is the water outlet there. But these are waterproof and they are above the outlet, so yeah, that might be a thing that we might need to change. Something that I will definitely have to change is this up here. I'm not keen that this plug here is open like this near water, right? So these cable lengths are very, very short. What I'm going to do, guys, is I know you just put plugs in there, right? But those plugs can be reused on other lights. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using one of the T connectors that you get for floodlights. If they go in the ground outside, you get T connectors for cables. I'm going to use that on there, and I'm just going to simply extend the cable. Right, another job for today is maybe we can actually start the filtration. The water level is really, really low still, but yeah, let's see. Let's see if we can get anything to come out. I can hear it in there, but I can't see nothing, right? So just put that to half. Let's try this one over here. This valve, let's open it all the way up. Oh, there you go. That valve is fully open, but there is water flow. Look at that, look how low the water is, and there's still water flow, right? So let's keep this on, and I'll be back in a second. Alright guys, we are back. It has been approximately 6 days. It's a little bit longer than I wanted to leave it, but yeah, my back has been horrific this week. And yeah, I've been pushing my luck doing things And my back is just saying, no, no more, Mark, have a rest. So I've been resting for 2 days, so that we're about 2 days behind on this build, but we're still 6 days in. As you can see here, guys, doesn't that floodlight effect look absolutely amazing? We haven't added any plants. I've still been remembering to come in here and add our bacteria, so yeah, we're 1 day away from adding the shrimp, and this is what we have to add in today. We're going to add in our famous subwater tang balls. This one has been redone, retied onto the brick. We have one here that we're going to do on camera because I think you guys would like to see how I actually make this stuff. We're going to add in a big bit cholla wood with some moss in it. We have our feeding dish to add. We have our bacteria for today, and we're going to add our little soaking oxidator, right? So you have that to look forward to. So straight off the bat, guys, let's get these plants in here because we don't obviously want to keep them outside the aquariums for too long. If you do, just remember to give them a spritz with water every now and again just to make sure that they don't dry out, right? Because if they dry out, they will be dead, right? So let's get these into the tank. This one has been done already. And this is going to be a real test for me because my back has been really, really bad. Oh my God. Let's get you in here. And guys, I can fix all the stuff in this, like final positioning and whatever else later. I just want to get the plants in, and I get the shrimp in tomorrow. So let's grab our other little cholla wood thing, cola cholla. Let's put this in as well. But you can see what I mean with these lights, how fantastic this looks, doesn't it? Look at, oh, it's so good. Why did I stick with the other lights for so long? Future tanks, we're also going to be changing over to these lights as well because I've ordered more. My spacing is a tiny bit off. But yeah, we're going to do the last one together. It's going to go here. Let's grab a big handful of our subwater tang. This is, I have lots of stuff here. And yeah, just plop it on top. And as I said, guys, remember, you don't have to do this absolutely perfectly because once this is on, it will grow really, really, really well. The whole point in our thread is just to hold it down into position long enough for it to get a little bit of a hold on itself. So on this side here, you can see I'm holding the thread here. I'm going to try and turn it just a wee bit so we can go lengthways. If you're a bricklayer, you'll find this super easy to do. Then you're going to go along lengthways like this, right? And I'm not going to cover my fingers at all. Right, you want to go to the edges, see the edges here, along and down to the next edge, and to the edge, all the way along to the front and underneath, under here. See my little pinky? So you're going to hold it there, and you're going to have to turn it upside down. And if you've done this right, you should have at least 3 or 4 layers of thread going across here that'll hold it in position enough that you can turn it upside down like this, see? Doesn't matter, guys, if you put it on the subwater tang, it's not going to die. Cut your thread. Remember, we started with our thread underneath the brick, and you can see it here. You see the ends? I'm simply just going to do a couple of overhand knots. And then turn your stuff upside down. You'll see it's actually on here really, really good. Right? Then we're going to put this bit into that tank over there. Alright, so let's grab our brick from the top. It's going to go kind of under this light here. Let me see. This is going to be really hard for me to judge because my back is so bad today. Right, guys, let's put in our stability. This is 15 mil on day 6. 15 mil, give it a little wash out. We're going to add our feeding dish, dead center of the tank. We might actually add 2 into this one. We want it to be near the front. And we're also going to be adding our soaking oxidator. Now this is meant for a 60 litre tank. This tank is obviously much bigger, but it will help a little bit, right? And I'm going to put it into my feeding dish at the front here as well, right? So guys, tomorrow we will be adding the shrimp. It is day 7. We are going to be adding our shrimp to our tank today, but before we do that, look at this beautiful masterpiece. Overnight, right, all I did was add some extra leaves, something I forgot to do the other day, and I added some cinnamon bark on the sides just in this size, guys. What I like to do, you guys will know this as well, is I like to create little islands in my tanks, just so that if there's baby shrimp, they can have little places to go and hide. Yeah, the tank is looking gorgeous, and I'm not sure if it's just me, but I think this is growing already. It's responding really well to this light, and you know, in the beginning I thought, is it just my imagination? But then when I look to the moss over here, I can see on the ends that they're quite bright and green, which is an indicator that they're actually growing. And guys, this is the one that we actually tied together less than a day ago. And yeah, I can see that this has really bushed up and it's really responding well to these spotlights. Remember, I used to have spotlights in this tank before, and I had saltwater tank ropes all the way along the back, and they really filled up really nicely. Well, we might actually do that in another video where we might add these to the tank, because that look cool as well. Right guys, but let's have a little look at the shrimp. Here are 15 to 20 of my bestest blue bolts. I love how dark these guys are. And the way we're going to do this, guys, is I'm going to use my conductivity pen here. We will match the water that the shrimp are in with the tank. I've already done this already, so I know roughly what it is. I think this is a conductivity of 220, 217. You guys probably can't see a thing, but just take my word for it. In the tank up here, guys, it was, let me see, you probably won't see a thing either. 209, right? So it is a little bit different. It's really close. So, right, so in conductivity terms, we are talking, what did I say, 217 to 29. That is a conductivity of 8, right? So if you had to convert this to TDS, it would be a difference of 4 parts per million, which is nothing, right? But the thing you have to remember this, guys, is we're going from an old tank that I haven't measured the pH of in a while, right? So the tank was, the breeding is getting slower and slower and slower. It's very evident that this is happening in that tank. But in this new one, when we measured it the other day, it was quite low. Remember, it was something like 5.5, right? So this is another reason why we have to take our time and drip the shrimp. Once this water in here is about halfway, you can see the drip here, it's only 2 or 3 drips a second. Once the water is about halfway, I'm just simply going to go like this. All the water that goes in there will be going back into this tank, like this. Right, if this was from someone else's shrimp keeping room, like if I bought these from someone else, I wouldn't do this, but because all of this water has come from my own shrimp room, there's no issues with that tank down there, there's no diseases, there's no pests. Yeah, we can put it back into the tank, and this is how you acclimate them the best way possible over time, right? So I will be back, guys, in approximately maybe 3 or 4 hours, and we'll add the shrimp. Alright guys, let's check these shrimp. I have matched the conductivity of this water in here to the tank exactly. It was 208. So I have now added all these lovely shrimp to this jug here. And guys, they are in spectacularly immaculate condition. I don't think I've ever seen shrimp in such good condition as this. And this is probably testament to the way that we do it on my channel, that we acclimate them properly. They're in the best condition possible when they go in the tank, right? So you'll see what I mean in a second, because we are now going to add our lovely shrimp to this tank. So we have approximately 15 to 20. I'm going to move them over here into the light, because they are just absolutely gorgeous. You can probably see here. I'll try and keep a little bit further back than I normally would. Yeah, but they are really dark as well. So let's get these little fellas out into their new home. And yeah, I hope we have tons and tons and tons and tons of breeding success with these guys, because I love blue bolts. They are a tiny bit darker at the front here because the light is pushed backwards. That is the only reason. They look like almost black here. But yeah guys, if you've enjoyed today's show and you want to see more content like this, where we add loads and loads of shrimp to new setups like this, then please do like and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you for watching. Happy shrimp keeping.